up to the Arctic Sea, which is the very top part of the world. It's really cold. Hard to imagine that right now when we're all sitting here in this hot weather, but there's a little village up there where a certain people lived called the Inuit people. And they lived in little cottages all along the edge of the Arctic Sea. And they were mostly family people that took care of each other. They hunted for salmon and for sea lions for food. And if somebody was out of food, they would share what they hunted for. But on the very edge of the village lived this old woman. And she didn't have any family. She didn't have anybody to take care of her or hunt for her. So when anybody had a little extra food, they would give some to the little woman just so she would have something to eat. But there was this time when food was kind of scarce for everybody, and nobody had brought her food for a while. And she got so hungry. And you know, if it's really cold and if you're hungry, you're even colder because your body doesn't have heat in it. And she was so cold in her little house, and she thought, you know, I should just go out across the ice and maybe I could find something out there to eat. So she put on her big thick parka and buttoned down her full cap, and she buttoned it real tight. And she started out across the ice looking for something. Maybe somebody dropped something out in the ice that she could eat. So she was walking out in the ice and she was looking so far. She went this way. She went up there. Wait, there was something way out there she could see. It was a little ball of something. So she went out a little further. And as she got closer, she realized it was a little baby polar bear curled up on the ice. And she realized that, well, the mother had put the baby there while she was hunting, and she told the baby not to move until she got back. That's the way mother bears protect their babies when they're hunting. And so she realized that if that mother came back when she was there, she'd be a big danger. So she backed away. She backed far off the ice, and she curled herself up in a ball in her big fur parka, and she waited and watched to see when the mother would come back. She waited all day, and it got colder and colder. Pretty soon the sun was going down, and she thought, something has happened to that mama bear. She's not coming back for the baby. So she walked out across the ice, out to where the baby bear was, and she picked it up. And she carried it all the way back to her little cottage, where she could put it back on the floor, and she coated a blanket over it. And she waited, hoping somebody would bring them something to eat. And sure enough, the next day, one of the neighbors brought her a little salmon. And she took out her big knife and she cut it in half. And she gave half to the bear, and she ate the other half. She was so hungry. And she named the baby bear Konnichiwa. And every time somebody would bring food, she would always cut it in half with her big knife, and she would give half to Konnichiwa, and she would eat the other half. And gradually, Konnichiwa started to grow a little bit, and the kids in the neighborhood heard that there was a baby bear living at the old woman's house. And so they came and they knocked on her door. Can Konnichiwa come out to play? And he did. He would go out and he'd play with the kids. They would roll him in the ball and slide him across the ice, and they would play chase across the ice, slipping and sliding. They had such a good time. And every time somebody would bring food, the old woman would always cut it in half and give half to Konnichiwa. Well, Konnichiwa was getting stronger and stronger all the time. And one day, he went out across the ice all by himself. And just like that, he came back with a beautiful little salmon. He was such a good hunter. So the woman cut it in half and gave half to Konnichiwa, and she ate the other half. And since then she wasn't hungry, because every time they got hungry, Konnichiwa could just go out just like that. He was so fast. So life went on like that for a while. And the old woman was so happy because she wasn't hungry anymore. And Konnichiwa was growing big and strong. What she didn't realize was that the hunters in the town were getting really unhappy with Konnichiwa. He was such a good hunter, he could get food just like that. Well, sometimes it took them a whole day to find something to hunt. And they came to the old woman, they said, "You've got to get rid of that bear. He takes too much food." She said, "He brings us food, and he brings food enough for all of us. Why can't he stay?" "No, he takes too much food, and he makes us look really bad because we can't hunt as good as he can. You get rid of him, or we'll get rid of him." The old woman couldn't believe it, because Konnichiwa had brought so much food for the village. She told the bear, "You have to leave because you might get in danger." So Konnichiwa, the next day, he walked out across the ice, and all the children were there weeping. They were going to miss him. Well, things went back the way they had been in the village. The old woman began getting very hungry again. People weren't bringing quite enough food, and she was so hungry. And before Konnichiwa left, she had told him, "You go away, but don't ever go so far that I can't come and find you sometime." So she realized that she had to go find Konnichiwa. So she put on her big parka, her big hat, and she went out across the ice again. And she looked for Konnichiwa, looking across the ice. She couldn't see him, so she thought, "I called him." But she was so old and her voice wasn't very good. "Can you help? Let's all call Konnichiwa." "Konnichiwa!" "What's wrong?" "Konnichiwa! Where are you? Konnichiwa!" She looked across the ice. She didn't see anything. But wait, there's something's coming way out there. Something's running towards her. It was Konnichiwa. He was loping across the ice, coming towards her. And he got up to the old woman and he threw his arms around her, a big bear hug. And she threw her arms around him. "Oh, Konnichiwa, I'm so glad to see you. Konnichiwa, I am so hungry. Would you bring me some food?" And Konnichiwa went away. Just like that, he came back with a big salmon. And she cut it in half, and she gave half to Konnichiwa, and she carried the other half back to her house. And she put it on the ice on the floor of her cabin, and she ate salmon for many days from that. And from then on, anytime she got really hungry, she'd just go out on the ice and she'd call, "Konnichiwa! Konnichiwa!" And he would listen, and he would come with another big salmon. And that's the story from the Inuit people about how this old woman saved the life of a baby bear, and how the bear saved the life of the woman. That's Konnichiwa.